These mysteries have survived every attempt by modern science to explain them away. From the invisible substance holding galaxies together to the strange lights that hover in thunderstorms, from what happens inside a dying brain to objects in the sky that the Pentagon itself can't identify, these phenomena refuse to fit neatly into our understanding of reality. The deeper scientists dig, the stranger it all gets. Let's start with the biggest mystery of all, and I mean that literally. 95% of the universe is missing. Not misplaced, not hiding behind a planet somewhere. Genuinely, fundamentally unknown. Here's what we know. The ordinary matter you and I are made of, the stars, the planets, everything visible in every telescope ever built, accounts for just 5% of the universe's total mass and energy. 27% is something called dark matter, and 68% is dark energy. We gave them names, and that's about as far as we've gotten. The dark matter puzzle has been open for almost a century now. Back in 1933, Swiss astronomer Fritz Zwicky was studying the Coma cluster, a massive collection of galaxies, when he noticed something that didn't add up. The galaxies were moving too fast, way too fast for the amount of visible matter holding them together. Something unseen, something massive, had to be exerting gravitational force. He called it missing matter. We now call it dark matter, and we still can't directly detect it. Dr. Rupak Mahapatra, an experimental particle physicist at Texas A&M, puts it perfectly. He says it's like trying to describe an elephant by only touching its tail. We sense something massive and complex, but we're only grasping a tiny part of it. His team uses advanced semiconductor detectors capable of catching events that might happen once in a year or even once in a decade. That's how elusive this stuff is. Dark energy is even more baffling. In 1998, two independent research teams discovered that the expansion of the universe isn't slowing down, as everyone expected. It's accelerating. Something is pushing the cosmos apart, counteracting gravity on the grandest scale imaginable, and we have absolutely no idea what it is. As of 2025, new theories are emerging suggesting dark matter might not even be a single particle, but a mix of two different types that must interact to produce detectable signals. Some researchers have even proposed that dark matter and dark energy don't exist at all, that they're side effects of the universe's changing forces. The debate is very much alive. Now let's come back down to Earth, literally, and talk about something you can occasionally see with your own eyes: ball lightning. In 1638, a great ball of fire reportedly came through the window of an English church. Since then, nearly 5,000 observation reports have been catalogued. These glowing spheres typically last about 25 seconds, hovering, drifting, sometimes passing through solid objects before vanishing or exploding. During World War II, submariners gave some of the most consistent accounts, describing small floating explosive balls that appeared when battery banks were switched. Pilots in that same war reported mysterious balls of light following their aircraft in strange trajectories. They called them Foo Fighters. For centuries, scientists dismissed ball lightning as folklore. Then in 2014, researchers at Northwest Normal University in China accidentally captured 1.64 seconds of a ball lightning event on a digital spectrometer. It was the first optical spectrum ever recorded. And as recently as July 2025, a couple in Rich Valley, Alberta, filmed a pale blue ball of fire hovering about 7 meters off the ground for 20 seconds. So we know it's real. We just can't explain it. One researcher put it bluntly: she'll need to see a reproducible and explainable experiment before she embraces ball lightning as anything more than the Loch Ness Monster of lightning phenomena. Speaking of things in the sky we can't explain, let's talk about unidentified anomalous phenomena, what most people still call UFOs. The Pentagon established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, in 2022 specifically to investigate these reports. Between May 2023 and June 2024 alone, they received 757 new reports. Their total caseload now exceeds 1,650 cases. Of those, 49 were resolved as balloons, birds, drones, even a Starlink satellite launch that confused a commercial pilot. But 21 cases were flagged as requiring deeper analysis. The shapes reported include orbs, cylinders, and triangles. Now, here's where it gets uncomfortable. AARO officially states it has found no evidence that any sighting represented extraterrestrial technology. But during congressional hearings, former Defense Department official Luis Elizondo testified plainly. Let me be clear. UAP are real. Advanced technologies not made by our government or any other government are monitoring sensitive military installations around the globe. Retired Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet went even further, citing strong evidence that they are non-human, higher intelligence. When asked if the federal government is knowingly concealing evidence about UAPs, all four witnesses at the hearing answered yes. From the skies to the boundary of life itself, near-death experiences are reported by 4 to 8% of the general population and up to 23% of cardiac arrest survivors. People describe tunnels of light, encounters with deceased relatives, a sense of profound peace. For decades, the scientific assumption was that these were hallucinations produced by an oxygen-starved brain. Then in 2024, researchers at the University of Michigan, led by Dr. Jimo Borjigan, made a remarkable observation. 2 dying patients exhibited a surge of organized brain activity shortly after removal of life support. This was the first evidence it might occur in humans. A separate study led by Sam Parnia worked with 25 hospitals across the US and UK and found evidence of measurable brain activity after the heart had stopped. But Professor Janice Holden pushes back, arguing that small, brief brain emissions cannot account for the complex cognition involved in NDEs. The late Peter Fenwick remained convinced until his death in November 2024 that these experiences provide evidence the human soul exists beyond the brain. That connects to perhaps the deepest mystery of all: consciousness itself. In 1995, philosopher David Chalmers gave it a name: the hard problem of consciousness. We can map neurons, we can track electrical signals, we can identify which brain regions activate during which tasks. But none of that explains why there is something it feels like to be you. Why does subjective experience exist at all? Some thinkers like Daniel Dennett argued the hard problem is an illusion. Others like Christoph Koch believe it's the central question of neuroscience. Philosopher Peter Hacker insists the really hard problems are the ones scientists are already working on. The debate has no resolution in sight. That's the through line connecting all of these mysteries. 95% of the universe is made of something we can't see or touch. Glowing spheres of light appear in our atmosphere and vanish before we can study them. Objects move through our skies in ways that defy known propulsion. Dying brains light up with activity that shouldn't be possible, and the very thing that allows you to contemplate any of this, your conscious awareness, remains fundamentally unexplained. Science has given us smartphones and spacecraft and gene therapy, but it has also given us the honesty to admit that the deepest questions remain wide open. And honestly, for anyone who loves a good mystery, that might be the most exciting thing of all.